smell that? No, I'm serious. Do you smell that? You don't smell that. Think that's your breath. Your shit stink. Your shit smell like 2 cans, 3 cans, 4 cans of bounce that ass. Fuck 2. Your shit like 3, 4, 5. You know? Maybe add a little bit of pickle juice. Your shit smell like a little bit of like some vinegar, some, you know what I'm saying? Your shit stink. And bro, I ain't gonna lie. If you don't brush your teeth, look, bro, you might actually be a serial killer in the next 3 years. Cause why are you not brushing your teeth, my nigga? I'm not gonna lie. You might actually be one of those. We might actually need to watch you. What the fuck, my nigga? And on the other side, bro, we actually need to start brushing our teeth every day. So every day, I'm going to ask y'all niggas, y'all need to brush y'all teeth. Y'all definitely do. Why is y'all shit nasty? I know y'all shit yellow. I know y'all shit yellow. Y'all shit yellow. But I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Today, I woke up. I had to do some interview shit. I ain't gonna lie. Breath hot as shit. Breath kicking. Not hot, but kicking. Those be the worst. Those be the worst. You know your breath stink when it just stink and it's cold. Like you just raw dogging your breath. Like that shit is nasty. Like, bro. I said, oh yeah, I gotta go over there. She said, okay, wait. Y'all can't reverse this on me. Y'all really need to brush y'all teeth. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all niggas be walking around hot ass breath in school and shit. Hot ass breath. You know your shit hot. You smell your shit. You asking niggas for gum. Nobody got gum for your bitch ass. Nobody even want to talk to you. They stand 6 feet away from you. You wonder why you turn your neck. There's a whole gap in space. There's a whole space gap around you, my nigga. You got a force field around you. A permanent force field. Stink field. You stink. Brush your teeth. You got worms living in your shit. Your shit the same color as cheese. Your shit cooked. You're cooked. No, if your shit the same color as cheese, buttery ass teeth, you got the butter coating on your teeth. No, butter coating on your teeth. That shit is funny as bro. Alright, listen. Brush your teeth, my nigga. Brush your teeth. Please, don't be one of these niggas that don't brush their teeth, my nigga. Brush your shit. Please, my nigga. Now, anyways, we getting into this video. Shout out to Tier Zoo. Y'all made this quick, cause didn't they just recreate dire wolves or some bullshit like that? How the fuck y'all recreate a prehistoric beast, my nigga? How do y'all do that? How do y'all do that? How do y'all do that? This shit makes no sense to me. Zero cents. 0 cents. $0, my nigga. Zero change. It don't make sense. Now, they like, bro, I don't know, bro. Wait, so you think they can do this to us? Cause I'm not gonna lie. If they can do this to us, it might actually be GG's for y'all niggas that did them what you call them bitches? MyAnswers.com and shit like that. Yeah, you're getting cloned. you're getting cloned in the next like 100 years. You're cooked. I'd be damned I'd die. Come back to life as a fucking clone to myself? No. GG's. But Tier Zoo did make a video. My nigga. Are dire wolves OP again? Are they OP? Let me get this screenshot though. Alright, let's get it.
Outside's modding community has successfully managed to mod.
Talking about the modding community. We already started with this shit, Tier Zoo. Like, come on, bro. We already started. I'm locked. I'm locked. I'm locked. I'm locked. You gotta get into the lore and the in-depth mechanics of of the Earth servers.
The
You know what I'm saying?
direwolf back into the game as a playable character again.
Y'all feel what I'm saying?
While
Y'all
obviously
feel what
this
I'm saying?
announcement generated a ton of discourse around the scientific and ethical implications of resurrecting extinct characters from previous balance patches,
Right?
what I want to discuss is the potential impact this could have on the competitive metagame. Just how overpowered was the dire wolf back during the Ice Age?
Okay.
And where are they most likely to place on the tier list in the current meta? First, let's discuss the direwolf's base stats.
Okay, let's compare stats. Let's compare stats. Okay, last video I said, what does PER mean? PER is perception. I'm a bot. Please forgive me. I'm a bot for that. I'm not gonna lie. But let's look at this. Let's look at this though. Damn, Direwolf better in every stat except for defense. And mobility? What? Oh, I guess since the regular wolf is smaller and shit, so they can just run faster and shit. Damn, you see how big that shit is? How big is a direwolf? Hold on, bro. Hold on, y'all. How big is a dire wolf? 6 feet long with some weighing up to around 3.5 feet tall. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm beating the shit out of a dire wolf. I'm not gonna lie. I'm beating the shit out of a dire wolf. 3 feet tall? You like these? You like these? Cause you know what I'm saying, I'm like 6 foot. I'm like 6 foot and shit. You said I'm not 6 foot? Bro. Bro. You said sit my eyes down? Bro. 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 150 pounds? They just as big as bullies and shit. They just like bullies and shit. They just like some bullies, some cane corsos and shit. Slightly bigger. Slightly taller and shit. That's it. That's it.
The easiest way to do this is to
They
compare
not
them
all
to the
that.
gray wolf.
I'm beating the shit out
So
of
the
wolf,
most
I ain't gonna
obvious
lie.
difference is
Life
their
or death.
size, as they were on
1v1,
average a
I'm
solid
cooking.
40% larger than the gray wolf, which gave them a much higher HP stack. This allowed them to tank hits that would potentially one-shot a modern wolf, a necessity given how
Damn.
powerful their hunting targets were. Their power stat was also significantly higher, even greater than you'd expect based on their increased size alone. Their broader, heavier skulls
I just thought about it. There's no big dog. There's no such thing as a big dog. The closest thing to a big dog we got is a bear. But that's not even a dog, though. That's not even like close to like what a dog can do. You know what I mean? We got all these big cats. Why don't we have big dogs? You ever thought about that? Is that what we trying to make? Big ass dogs? Do we really need big ass dogs? Dogs already protect us from so much shit. Do we need them to be even bigger? These niggas herd cows. They protect the house. They protect the babies. You know what I'm saying? They can even walk you. They can walk us. My nigga. Why do we need bigger dogs? What else do we need? When they start when they start reverse attacking our shit.
granted them a dramatically stronger bite force, enough to easily crack a bone. This
Man's
is where the
best
direwolf's
friends are the
stat
man's
superiority ends, though. The
Predators,
direwolf had a
what is he
lower
talking
intelligence stat than modern wolves, on account of their slightly lower brain-to-body mass ratio. Not so low as to preclude them from using pack hunting tactics, but definitely low enough that their ability to sense danger and avoid obvious traps apparently wasn't as sharp. Their legs were thicker and comparatively shorter,
dumber.
making them a bit less nimble and far less capable of distance running than the modern grey wolf. For stealth, the direwolf's bright white coat gave it a massive stealth bonus on snowy terrain, but was otherwise a bit worse than the versatile camouflage of the greys and browns of the modern wolf. Their perception abilities were more or less comparable, and the same goes for the defense stat, as both relied on their thick fur as a form of light armor. As alluded to before, for direwolves, the metagame during the Ice Age was basically constant boss rush mode. Each
what
hunt
the
would
fuck
center
is
around
that?
trying to bring down one of the Ice
sloth?
Age's many behemoths,
Big-ass
something like a
sloth.
bison or a giant ground sloth. Their stat spread was excellent for this type of game plan. Their high damage, blood loss inflicting bites, and pack hunting tactics were a devastating counter to the high HP herbivores of the time. Their lower mobility was less of an issue than you might expect, since most of their hunting targets weren't going to run away anyway. That said, even with their boosted HP compared to Grey Wolves, engaging Pleistocene megafauna head-on was extremely risky and could very easily have resulted in getting sent back to your respawn point.
Nah, that is insane.
But the larger issue
like
was the direwolf's matchups versus the other apex predators of the Ice Age. After securing a kill, characters like the short-faced bear and Smilodon would often bully them away from the meat, and could easily delete their entire HP bar if they tried to fight back. Because of this poor matchup spread, direwolves were often forced to eat as quickly as possible, or to wait for the more dangerous players to finish looting before getting to reap the rewards of their own successful hunts. In this scenario, their incredible bite force had the bonus effect of letting them get more value out of a carcass than other predators could, as even after bears and saber-tooths were finished with it, there would still be plenty of bone marrow available for the wolves. In this regard, the direwolf has a lot in common with the spotted hyena, being a powerful hunter that can also pivot to a scavenging playstyle whenever necessary. However, even though they have similarly powerful bone-crushing bites, only the hyena spec'd into the specialized durable molars for crunching on bone. Direwolves have much less specialized teeth, made more for just general meat shearing and inflicting bleed damage. Even with their higher bite force, over-reliance on bone crunching resulted in direwolves burning through the durability of their primary weapon, dulling its effectiveness in future combat scenarios. This was a massive long-term liability, and as a consequence, the direwolf unfortunately had a very low lifespan compared to the grey wolf. But obviously the meta has shifted a lot since the Ice Age. So what would the direwolf's matchup spread look like now? Well, the biggest change between then and now is the lack of megafauna. Gigantism is simply not seen as being necessary in the game's competitive landscape anymore, and so tailoring your character specifically to counter that type of build just isn't that potent of an advantage now. In fact, I would guess that their lower agility would offset any power advantage direwolves would bring to the table. Most of the current meta's key herbivores, like deer, rely solely on speed and perception to survive, and would be very difficult for a slower, bulkier wolf to catch. But with that said, direwolves would have a much easier time protecting any quarry they did manage to bring down. While grizzly bears would of course remain a threat, the matchup is nowhere near as much of a blowout as the short-faced bear was versus direwolves. In fact, even a pack of grey wolves can sometimes hold their own versus brown bears. And the direwolf's main adversary, the saber-tooth, has no modern analog in the North America server. Large cats are essentially a non-factor, while mid-sized cats like the puma would be obliterated 1v1. However, the last matchup they need to worry about is a lot more interesting. What would the matchup be like between the direwolf and the grey wolf? On its surface, it might seem like an obvious blowout. Direwolves are more powerful and can take more damage. And sure, in 1v1 combat, I don't think there'd be any doubt which character comes out ahead. But in terms of survival, the equation shifts dramatically. Direwolves were already struggling during the Ice Age. They were a popular pick for sure, but for many of the reasons already discussed, they were no top tier. Their core strategy only works well in a server filled with slow, giant targets. Grey wolves, on the other hand, have much more flexibility in their diet. When the opportunity arises for a pack to come together and bring down a large beast, grey wolves of course can and do rise to the occasion. But because of their smaller stature, they can subsist on smaller prey when necessary. Builds like the rabbit,
any other animal other than a fucking human, bro. Any other build, bro, you're getting cooked. You seen him? All he got to do, all he had left in him was to just lay down and let his neck meat come off the bone, bro. That is insane. I know that shit
fish can fill the gaps if there's ever a lack of large prey on the server.
His whole
Direwolves,
tender
in addition
meat
to being too
sliding
slow
off
to
his
reliably
neck.
catch agile sprinters
His
like rabbits,
neck
would
bone,
not be able to thrive off of that diet. There's a reason that most other large predators function at least partially as generalist omnivores, with a broad skill set that can make use of a wide variety of food sources. Lastly, there's one final major difference between the Ice Age meta and the modern meta, and that is the centralization around the human build. The Grey Wolf is the literal best example in the game of a character that turned the threat of the new top tier into an opportunity, becoming the human's first choice for party member and hunting teammate. This is primarily due to the wolf's intelligence, exemplified by its ability to cooperate. Cooperate with its wolf teammates, cooperate with ravens asking for help chasing away rivals from carcasses, and of course cooperate with humans looking for help guarding their camps and chasing down prey. Direwolves were less cooperative, even with each other. With direwolves being both less intelligent and requiring more food to survive, it's unlikely they'd have ever been able to slot into a human's party.
They still got maxed out perception though, basically. But they said they don't detect. Okay. Maybe they don't detect, you know what I'm saying, the animals around them and shit. Because they kind of dumber.
So ultimately, I do believe the wolves already established in the meta will be able to hold their ground against these fearsome Ice Age predators. After all, they did it once before. Grey wolves were added to the game around the start of the Ice Age, and survived through the entire glaciation period and into modern day.
Yo.
There's little reason to expect these resurrected direwolves would fare any better against the tried and true Grey wolf now. Or is there? The fundamental assumption we've been making for this whole video is that these newly modded characters are in fact authentic direwolves. But how exactly did this group of data miners and modders go about reversing the removal of direwolves from the character select screen? You could be forgiven for assuming they simply got their hands on a former direwolf player's old save data, and just copy-pasted the entire thing onto a fresh save file. If they'd done that, I would completely agree that they had indeed re-added the direwolf full stop. But no, if you take a look at the modders' dev blog, it appears their actual methodology was to take the Grey Wolf's game data and edit it to buff the Grey Wolf in a few specific areas, to make it similar in size and power to the original direwolf. Now, whether or not this counts as a true direwolf is kind of up to your own interpretation. If you modded a horse to give it a horn, did you make a rhino? If you modded beluga whale to give it a tusk, did you make a narwhal? I could kind of see both sides of the argument here, but what I think is more important for our discussion is that these modders don't seem to have programmed in any of the direwolf's former limitations. They buffed the wolf's size and strength, sure. They even gave it a stark white coat, giving it a huge stealth bonus on snowy terrain, similar to the polar bear. But as far as I can tell, they did not nerf its mobility by giving it proportionally shorter legs, nor did they nerf the wolf's intelligence by giving it a proportionally smaller cranial cavity. And this is where I do think there's a genuine risk of these modded characters becoming broken, either in the overpowered sense or legitimately unplayable sense. They could be extremely overpowered, possessing all the advantages of the dire wolf with zero trade-offs.
Right.
But it's also possible that this modded build is so overtuned that its energy upkeep costs will be completely unmanageable. Brain size in particular is one of those traits that can easily sink a build if the payoff doesn't materialize, as brain size is one of the most calorically demanding traits in the game. The original direwolf player base already ran into this roadblock at the end of the Ice Age, and this was without the increased energy needs of a larger brain. At the end of the Ice Age, the devs patched the game precisely to punish greedy, overtuned builds like this, and it was the compact efficiency of the Grey Wolf, Coyote, and other small carnivores that kept them in the game while the direwolf faced extinction. We may never know which of these extremes ends up being true, as the modders have so far maintained that these superwolves will only be playable on their private server, where presumably their massive energy demands will be met regardless of their viability. Anyway, there's still way too much we don't know about these modded superwolves for me to say for sure whether or not I think they're actually going to be overpowered. Even that bit about their increased brain size is heavily speculative. I don't actually know if the code they edited actually results in increased brain size. From what I can tell, it's at least indirectly tied to brain size, but without directly measuring these superwolves' brain sizes and metabolisms, it's impossible to say for sure.
So they buffed the direwolves and unpatched them. They don't have no more flaws. Except for if they have a bigger brain, then they gotta use more energy.
If you or anyone you know is a part of this modding community, I'd love to get in touch. They've been hinting at the possibility of doing something similar for the Mammoth, so I'll try to keep you all updated on the latest modding
If
shenanigans.
niggas bring back the Mammoth,
subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks again for watching, and as always, good luck.
If niggas bring back the Mammoth, yeah, they bringing back your ass. Ancestry.com, we on to you, nigga. We on to you. We on to y'all niggas. We on to y'all niggas. Let me go ahead and like this video, though. Let me go ahead and like this video. You know what I'm saying? We on to you, bro. All that ancestry bullshit y'all had us do. They had them do. I ain't do that shit. They dumb niggas did that shit. Because they want to see if they part Indian, part West African. Like, bitch. Bitch, stop. Bitch, stop. You don't care that much. You don't care. The fuck? The fuck, my nigga?